It's mailbag time here on the Raiders Report, and today's show presented by Panda Supps. Make sure that you use code PANDANATION for 25% off at pandasupps.com. I'm going to tell you this right now. The protein is not always on sale because it's some of the best protein that you've ever had, and it's only going to be on sale for a limited time. So if you want to take advantage of this deal, go down in the comments, go down in the description, code PANDANATION, 25% off at pandasupps.com. Now, we go live every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So all the super chats, all the questions that you see on today's show are from when we went live then. This one's rolling in from David Gonzalez. Hey, guys, do you think Josh gets extended once they get rid of Renfrow and free up that cash? I don't even know if Renfrow is ultimately going to get dealt at this current stage because you can't cut him. Cutting him, the Raiders only save $470K. They eat over $12 million. Trading him is the only way that you're going to save the money. And if you're the Raiders, do you think that you're going to be able to trade Renfrow by July 17th, 4 p.m. Eastern Time? Because that's when this deal needs to end up getting done. I believe that the Raiders are going to end up extending Jacobs, and they're going to backload his contract the way that they have backloaded so many of the Raiders' current deals already. Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, they backloaded Waller's. Like, they're going to find an out because Jacobs clearly does not want to play under the franchise tag. I'll be real with you, though. The best thing for the Raiders is if Josh Jacobs plays on that franchise tag. Let's go to Adam Martinez. Hey, guys, keep up the great work. I'd love to see Renfrow in a Texans jersey. Casey and McDaniels are old friends. I mean, personally, I will continue to say the Titans, the Texans, the Saints are all teams that you should keep in mind because of the connections out there. Though the Texans right now are okay with Tank Dell in terms of a slot receiver. But anytime with Caserio, McDaniels, and Ziegler, yes, you have to absolutely keep that on the table. Let's go to Brandon Jasper here. You're up next in your fantasy draft, and you want a running back. Josh Jacobs and Barkley are available. Who are you drafting? If I'm in a standard league, I'll take Josh Jacobs. If I'm in a PPR league, points per reception, I'll actually go Saquon Barkley. If I am in a mixed half-point PPR, I'll still go with Jacobs there. Like, it is such a close... I'll also say go with the running back that you think is less injury prone. So for that reason, I would say 60% of my drafts, I would take Jacobs. Maybe 40% I would go with Saquon Barkley. Let's go with C9 Edits. What up, brother? Tafer and Deshaun Reed think that the Raiders are cutting Isaiah Pola-Mao. Do you think Vegas keeps either Teamer or Jaquan Johnson over him? It's an intriguing option, right? I know that you can make an argument for Teamer. He's the better special teamer. Jaquan Johnson, they also signed him this offseason. He might be the best coverage safety out of all of these players. However, I really believe in my heart of hearts that this team ends up keeping Isaiah Pola-Mao because of his versatility. They're trying to use him as a linebacker, strong safety hybrid. On top of that, they love relationships. Pola-Mao is related to Troy Polamalu, who, guess what, is related to Kenny Polamalu, the Raiders running back coach. But if I was doing this team, sounds weird, I would end up keeping Isaiah Pola-Mao because of that versatility and because he's the younger player. The Raiders want to build, right? Like, they want to take their young talent and they wanted to be able to develop it. For that reason, I'm going to type IPM here because Jugs, for those that can't see it, pick one to keep. Jaquan Johnson type JJ, Roderick Teamer type RT, or if they're going to keep the second-year safety out of USC type IPM. Me personally, I am going to type IPM. But you know what? We're going to make this the pinned comment on today's mailbag. Scroll on down. Let me know your answer. Let's go to Rebel Montana. Do we have the updated salary cap? From the last number that I saw, it was $3.7 million. Now, I believe that was already put in with Michael Mayer, Ja'Cory, and Bennett and how much that they would end up making on this team. But I believe right now it's $3.7 million the Raiders have in terms of salary cap space. Let's go to LC Raider. How many just win babies the Raiders sweep the Broncos again? Let's go with 3. I mean, the Raiders have won 6 straight games against Denver. Are we 100% sold that Russell Wilson's going to be that much better? I don't know. Like, Sean Payton, I get how great Payton was, but he also had Drew Brees, and they also had great chemistry together. And if Payton's not 100% sold on Russell Wilson, could be a little bit of an interesting situation. Let's give it 3. What up, Martin? Love the new pick. Bad business could mean anything, right? Maybe he's sad about the missing submarine. Yeah, the missing submarine story is something, if you all don't know, you should look into it. But he's talking about Josh Jacobs' tweet. Said bad business. I mean, you got to look at Josh's other things that he's tweeting about, his likes. You're right. It could be literally anything. But I'm just going to assume that it's about the only thing he's talking about over the past few months, and that he's just simply not happy with his current contract situation. Now, again, y'all, today's show is presented by Panda Supps, and huge shout out to them for sponsoring the show. They've been a proud sponsor of the Raiders Report for over 2 years. The owner of Panda Supps is a diehard Raiders fan, and if you guys want to go try his protein, I definitely think you should. It's the best tasting protein on the market. Use Panda Nation is your code for 25% off at pandasupps.com. If you love sweets, the chocolate ice cream is phenomenal. If you want a protein that tastes like the Fruity Pebbles milk, that's what this tastes like. It is unbelievable to me. If you're a big-time vanilla favorite, which Chugs just said in my ear, this is my favorite. Like, to me, vanilla is okay. It's not sweet enough for me. But if you really like mixing with, like, fruits and stuff, vanilla is what I recommend. And then they just dropped 2 new ones, which are changing the game. They got their cookies and cream, which is like chocolate Chips Ahoy, dipped in milk, and there's actual chunks of cookie in it. And then their brand new strawberries and cream has real freeze-dried strawberries inside. So if you love strawberry, like what I've been doing recently is I will mix my strawberry and the vanilla, and I actually throw in a little bit of peanut butter in my protein shakes. It is out of control how good this is. Honestly, you're going to drink it, you're going to be like, there's no way this is good for me. And then you're like, oh shit, it's got 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, about 140 calories per scoop, and it curbs your appetite. Long-lasting proteins that will help you with your workout. You're going to get extra gains, and then if you're also, trying to eat healthier during the workday, that's where these guys really can step up the game. So, pandasupps.com, code PandaNation for 25% off. Again, huge shout out to Panda Supps for sponsoring the Raiders Report. All right, here we go. Let's go to the next one. Rolling in here from Paul. And Husker Raider says their protein powder is fire. So if you don't want to believe me, believe Husker Raider. If Jimmy Garoppolo goes down, do the Raiders pick up a new quarterback or roll with Hoyer in the 4th round pick QB? If Garoppolo goes down, which if you have Jimmy Garoppolo, you almost have to anticipate that he is going to miss some time. They're just going to roll with either Brian Hoyer or Aidan O'Connell. Like, it's not going to be sexy at that point, which that it is what it is. I would hope that they would roll with O'Connell because you already know what Brian Hoyer is, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the route that they end up going. Next one, rolling in here from Dominic. Casey Hayward is still a free agent. Would you want the Raiders to bring him back? I do like Casey Hayward. There's no doubt about it, and he was a great fit for what the Raiders needed. However, Hayward is not a man coverage corner, and the more and more players that this team looks at, the more and more players that they bring in, they clearly want to run press man, and that doesn't fit with Casey Hayward in terms of what his best ability is. If you want to bring him in on a vet minimum type of deal and say, Hayward, you're only going to play when we run zone, that's a little bit of a different conversation, but to me, it's just simply not going to happen because of the way that this defense is going to run this upcoming season. Now, I will say this. If the Raiders go out and they sign Casey Hayward, if the Raiders make a big-time splash in free agency, which sounds like they have been looking at veteran corners, and the name that continues to get thrown out there is Marcus Peters. If Marcus Peters signs, we're going to be going live. And to make sure that you don't miss it, you need to be subscribed to the show here. People who I know are sub. We got some new subs, and they continue to roll in. We're trying to get to 138,000 by the month, or by July, so we only got a few days left to get there. Shout out to Ultimate Ketosis, Japlai Baba, Josh, M7, Mickey, and then Golax13. I know y'all hit that subscribe button, but if you could, take that link, send it to some Raider fans, youtube.com/Raiders Report. Let's go to Adam Sweeney. Who's most likely to play right guard this year? I'm going to continue to say that it's Netane Moody, Van Roten, and then I'll go with Jermaine Illuminor. Because that means either Thayer Munford or somebody beat out Illuminor, and they're just going to kick Illuminor into right guard. If you want to get really, really crazy, Dylan Parham kicks over to right guard, and then they put Van Roten or Netane Moody or somebody of that caliber over at left guard. I just don't think it's Bars. Like, I don't think that Alex Bars is a starting offensive lineman on any NFL team in today's day and age. And if you think that he is, you're just lying to yourself. Is he good backup? No doubt about it. But in terms of a starter, it simply doesn't make sense to put him out there. No logical team would do it. Let's go to Rob. What up, Rob? I have a real bad feeling that, has been poisoned here, and we deal Jacobs for a third rounder. God, I hope that's not the case. If the Raiders trade Josh Jacobs for a third-round pick in 2024, it just goes to show that they have no idea what they're doing. I mean, that's the only way that you can sit here and think about that. Like, for you to trade Jacobs for a third-round pick, if we could have used that third-rounder in 2024, it still would have been a terrible trade, but you're like, all right, I might be able to figure out what I can use for Jacobs for this year. For the NFL draft already to be passed, this would be a bonehead move. Let's go to Raider Heavy. Since you said no to Casey Hayward, what about Byron Jones? No to Byron Jones. I mean, I get that there's a lot of people out there like, oh, Byron Jones is one of the top corners on the free agent market. When he's healthy, sure. But Byron Jones, since tearing his Achilles, has been bad on the field. And then on top of that, pretty sure dude this offseason said that he can't even jump and run. So if he is literally telling you that he can't move, I don't see why the Raiders would make a move on him. But Chugs wants to know, will the Raiders sign a veteran cornerback? We already have had conversations about Peters. Got 2 questions today around Casey Hayward and Byron Jones. I'm going to type my Y for yes because I think it ends up being Marcus Peters. Let's go to Raider Man. If Jimmy G can't play week 1, will Aidan O'Connell play week 1? I hope so. Like, I don't see why the Raiders would roll out a 37-year-old Brian Hoyer. Brian Hoyer has absolutely no upside. Brian Hoyer, by definition, is like you walking in to an ice cream store that's got 100 flavors, and you sitting there at the window debating on what you're going to get, and you're just like, I'll take vanilla. I don't understand why you would do that and why the Raiders roll with Hoyer. Roll with Aidan O'Connell. Go with a flavor that you've never had before, and it might turn out to be your favorite one. Let's go to Patrick, first-time super chatter here. Hey, Mitch. Love the analysis. Patrick, much love. Get a pick. If we have a good offensive line, then it follows behind a good running back. His name is JJ, no matter what anyone says. I mean, the offensive line last season did play a lot better than what it honestly got credit for, and it continues to be one of the stronger points of this team. This offensive line has the ability to be a top 10 O-line. And for people that think that's crazy, you didn't watch a lot of Raiders games last season. PFF had these guys ranked already in their top 10 while the season ended. That's the Carmen Brasillo impact that he is going to have on this team. And now you get an extra year working together. You're going to have a better right guard. This offensive line is going to be good. And if Jacobs runs 80% of the way that he did last season, he's going to be around 1,400 rushing yards yet again. Now, again, before we end today's live show and before we end today's mailbag, friendly reminder, Chat Sports going to be live for the NBA draft. So if you already don't know, last year, over 780,000 viewers on our NBA draft coverage. And this year, I think we're going to hit 1 million because of this guy. Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Be there or you eat corn the long way. The link's going to be down in the comments. It's going to be in the description of today's show as well. Subscribe to Chat Sports. That way you can get the picks before you see them on television. Honestly, our NBA draft coverage, pretty similar to our NFL coverage. So if you like our NFL coverage, I think you're also going to love what we do here at Chat Sports for the NBA draft.